They laughed when he mopped the floors. But no one knew. The quiet old janitor once decoded messages from space. And when a student found his secret, the truth shook the entire school and the world beyond. It was 6:03 a.m. when Mr. Samuel Reed pushed open the side door of Roosevelt High School, mop bucket rattling on the tile floor. The hallways were empty, bathed in the soft blue glow of dawn. His shoes squeaked slightly, echoing against faded lockers. To the kids, he was just a janitor, a quiet old man with a limp and a habit of humming old jazz songs while sweeping the cafeteria. But that morning, as he paused beside the trophy case, staring at a framed photo of the school science club, his eyes softened. He whispered something under his breath, in Russian, then in French, and then in Japanese. A secret nobody at Roosevelt High ever suspected. Samuel Reed wasn't just a janitor. He was a linguist, engineer, and former NASA systems analyst, once responsible for decoding telemetry data from Mars. Now, he scrubbed gum off floors for $12 an hour. Later that day, a group of seniors stood near the cafeteria doors, mocking him. "Hey, Mr. Reed," one boy yelled, waving his phone. "You missed a spot." Laughter rippled. Samuel didn't respond. He simply smiled, wiped the last streak off the window, and said gently, "Clean glass shows what's inside, son. Sometimes that's not what people want to see." They laughed harder, walking away. But one girl, Elena Morales, 17, quiet, top of her class, stayed behind, frowning. She'd always noticed something different about the janitor. The way he listened to the foreign exchange students, the way his eyes lit up when he heard another language in the halls. That evening, Elena stayed late for robotics club. While walking past the janitor's closet, she heard typing. Fast rythmique deliberate. Peeking through the cracked door, she saw Samuel hunched over an ancient laptop, equations and data charts glowing on the screen. And on the wall, taped printouts of old NASA mission schematics. She stepped in quietly. "Mr. Reed," he froze. For a moment, the only sound was the hum of the flickering light. Then he turned, smiled faintly, and said, "Didn't think anyone stayed this late." Elena looked at the papers. "You work for NASA?" He sighed. "A lifetime ago. Before the layoff, before I got too old to be useful." His voice cracked slightly, but his eyes still had the spark of a man who once touched the stars. Over the next few weeks, Elena started visiting him after school. While other students scrolled TikTok, she listened to stories of rocket telemetry, neural networks, and the languages he learned to communicate with scientists from around the world. 7 languages? She gasped one day. He chuckled. 8 if you count math. They both laughed. He taught her Russian phrases, explained orbital mechanics, even helped her rewrite her robotics code, in half the time her teacher could. "You don't belong here," she said once. "Neither do most dreamers," he replied softly. One afternoon, Elena's robotics team faced disaster. Their drone prototype failed, right before the regional science expo. Their teacher was away. Samuel was sweeping the hallway when he heard their frustrated cries. Without saying a word, he stepped in. The students stared. The janitor? He asked for a screwdriver and knelt beside the table. Within minutes, he found a wiring error in the gyroscope system. Then, speaking fluently in Spanish to one student and Mandarin to another, he directed the repairs like a conductor guiding an orchestra. When the drone lifted off the table, hovering perfectly in the air, the room went silent. Every student stared at him as if seeing him for the first time. Elena smiled proudly. "Told you he's not just a janitor." Someone filmed it. By the next morning, the clip had over 3 million views on TikTok. The janitor who fixed a drone in 3 minutes. The school principal called him in, worried about public attention. Samuel just smiled. "Don't worry, ma'am. I'm not planning to be famous again." But the internet had other plans. Within a week, NASA alumni began commenting. Someone posted, "Is that Sam Reed? I worked with him on the Mars Data Relay project." The story exploded. A black SUV pulled up outside Roosevelt High. 2 men in suits stepped out from NASA's public affairs office. They met Samuel in the hallway. "Mr. Reed, headquarters would like to invite you back, even if just as a consultant." He stared, speechless. His hands trembled. He hadn't set foot inside NASA in 27 years. "I'm too old for rocket ships," he said with a half-smile. One agent replied, "The rockets still need guidance, sir." A month later, the school hosted a special assembly. Samuel was the guest speaker. The same students who once mocked him now sat quietly, listening as he spoke. The world will always label you by what they see. But your purpose, your true worth, is what they can't. I was the janitor, yes. But I never stopped learning, never stopped believing in what I once was and what I still could be. He turned to Elena in the front row. And if someone believes in you, even just one person, that's enough to light a universe. That night, Samuel returned to his small apartment. He sat at his desk, same old laptop, same stack of mission papers, but this time next to a new NASA badge. He smiled softly, whispering, "Back among the stars." In the background, a news anchor's voice played on TV. The story of a school janitor who once worked for NASA has inspired millions across the country. He leaned back, eyes closing, peaceful, grateful, a man who found his way home. Months later, a plaque appeared on the wall of Roosevelt High, dedicated to Samuel Reed, the man who never stopped reaching for the stars. And beneath it, a small engraving, written by Elena herself. Dreamers never mop floors, they polish the world. Even the smallest life can hold galaxies of wisdom. Never judge someone's worth by their uniform. Greatness doesn't vanish, it just changes form.